ॐ शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करभावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानामेकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्वजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா. லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யகம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. வாகர்த்தாவிவ சம்பிரக்தௌ வாகர்த்த பிரதிபத்தயே जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्री पार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं कूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहं। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं। नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरनभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं चक्रवाटी ध्रुवमभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं। श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशीविभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलाधरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി. ഏതീനു മന്യനെ കുമ്പിടേണ്ടാത്തോരു രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കനായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Welcome everyone. Good evening. Okay, so let's do a quick review of 13. Vijaya, can you do 13 review?
பண்றேன். ஸ்ரீ கிருஷ்ணாய பரபிரமே நமஹ. இரண்யாக்ஷவத வர்ணனம். இரண்யாக்ஷம் தாவத் வரத பவதன்வேஷண பரம் Sarantam samvarte payasi nijajamka parimite pavat bhakto katva kapatapadutirnarada munihi shanairuche nandhan tanujamapi nindham stava palam samaya vibhishnurharati bhavadiyam vasumatim प्रभो कष्टं किमितमिति तेनापि कथितः नदन् क्वासौ क्वासाविति समुनीनादर्शितपदो भवन्तं सम्प्रावत् तरणीतरम् उद्यन्तम् उदकात् अहो आरण्योऽयं मृग इति असन्तं बहुतरैः तुरुक्तैर्विद्यन्तं दिदिसुतम् अवज्ञाय भगवन् महीं दृष्ट्वा तंष्टरा शिरसि सकितां स्वेन महसा भयातावादाय प्रसभम् उदयुङ्क्ता मृदविदौ.
On the fourth line, first line, payo. Okay, payo dhavadaya.
Payo dhavadaya. कतः पानौ दैत्ये त्वमपि हि गृहीते तोन्नदकदो नियुत्तेन क्रीडन् कडकडरवोत्कृष्टवियतां रणलोकौत्सुक्यान् मिलति रणलोकौत्सुक्यान् मिलति सुरसङ्केतृतमुन्द्रन्त्याः सन्त्यादः प्रथमिमिति तात्रा जगतिषे कथोन्मर्ते तस्मिन् तव खलु कदायां तिथि भुवो कदाकाधात् भूमौ झटिति पतितायाम् अहह पोहो.
Sorry, under just two has, right?
अहह पोहो मृदुस्मेरास्यस्त्वं तनुज कुलनिर्मूलनचनं महासक्रं संवृत्वा करभुवि ददानोरुरिशिषे.
And the fourth line, smritva.
Fourth line.
Mahachakram smritva.
Mahachakram smritva. Okay. Tadasulam kala प्रतिमरुषितैत्ये विसृजति त्वयि चिन्तात येनत् करकलितसक्रप्रहरणात् समारुष्टो मुष्ट्या स खलु विदुतं त्वां समदनोत् कलन्माये मायाः. அங்க நிறுத்த வேணாம் நினைக்கிறேன். சகலு வித துமஸ்துவாம் சமதனோத் கலன்மாயே.
Correct, comma தான். After samatanoth, end of the line, there is a comma there.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Kalanmaye mayaha tvayi kila jagan mohanagarihi pavachakra jyotish kanalava nipatena vidute तदो माया चक्रे विधत कनरोषान्तमनसं करिष्टाभिर्मुष्टिप्रहृतिभिरभिक्नन्दमसूरं कराक्रेण स्वेन श्रवणपदमूले निरवतिः महाकाया सोऽयं तव कर सरोज प्रमथितो कलत्रक्तो वक्त्रात् अपततृषिभिः श्लाघितहितिः हतिः तथा त्वाम् उत्ताम प्रमद परविद्योदि हृदया मुनीन्द्राः सान्त्राभिः सुधिभिर् अनुवन्नत्वरतनुम् त्वचिच्छन्तो रोमस्वपि कुशकनश्चक्षिकृतं सदुर्होधारोङ्क्रौ सृगपि वदने चोत्तरयिडा ग्रहोज्ज्वायां ते परपुरुषकर्णे च समसः विभो सोमो वीर्यं वरद कलतेषेप्यु वसतः.
Third line, last word, chamasaha. I think you said chamaso or something. Chamasaha. Yeah.
Okay. मुनीन्द्रै इत्यादि स्तवन मुखरैर्मोदितमनाः महीयस्या मूर्त्या विमलतर कीर्त्या च विलसन् स्वतीक्ष्ण्यं सम्प्राप्तः सुघरस विहारी मधुरिपो निरुन्त्यारोगं मे सकलमपि वाधालयपते.
Krishna. Very good. Okay, so let's start with 5. So in the case, let me just check one second. Go ahead. Sandeep, you can be a student, and then Purna, you can be a student.
Sure.
Okay. So stanza 5. Kamo vasantamalyanilabandhushali kanta kataksha vishikair vikasat vilasaihi vidhyan muhura kampamudiksha chatvam bhirustvayata jagade mriduhasa bhajam. So we saw last time how Nara and Narayana were in the Bhadarika ashramam, and then they were preaching, right? They were teaching all the path of liberation to everybody else. And at that time, Indra, who then was worried about the spiritual strength that they were gaining because of this, decided to send Kamadeva and everybody to distract them. So, when the Kamadeva and everybody comes, they have to create an environment, right? If it is 120 degrees outside or raining, then you don't create that environment of distraction, right? So along with Kamadeva, like poetically, he says the weather also has to be good. So they got like a spring kind of weather. The weather was also well settled. And then there was very nice fragrance that was actually created. And then all the other women and other damsels who came along with Kamadeva started distracting Nara and Narayana. And no matter what, and here Bhattaripat being like a poet, so they're saying that they were shooting arrows through the ice, right? So in the definition, if you look at the Samudrika Lakshanam, they say that the women's eyebrows should be joined in the middle, that it looks like a bow. So that's where then when the woman looks at it, it's as if you're shooting arrows from the bow, right? So when the woman is looking at it, the eyebrows are your bow, and then her sight is the arrows. So he's saying all the women are looking at them and shooting arrows through their eyes, right? Trying to distract Nara and Narayana. But then they're seeing that neither of them is getting distracted. So when they see that they're unwavered, then they're also beginning to get surprised. At that time, you then in a smiling way, Mridu Hasa Bhaja, in a very smiling way, you told them. And then what he tells us in the next stanza, says, you, O Narayana, you told them in a very smiling way, you just said this, right?
Actually, Rajesh, it's really coincidental you mentioned this. In Saundarya Lahari,
yeah.
Bruvor Madhye. So it actually, Shankar Bhagavad also says that actually.
That's what I said. It said the women, I mean, I'm just repeating, so don't take it in any bad way, all the ladies here. Like that says, like the eyebrows, it should be joined in the middle, and then it looks like a bow. And so when the lady looks at it, it's as if you're shooting arrows from the bow, right? So that is that there in the Samudrika Lakshanam, the definition of it. So that's what he's saying, that every time when they're looking at it, it feels like that, right? He's saying, that's a brew, yeah. So Kamo Vasanta Malayanila bandhushali, comma, kanta kataksha vishikair vikasat vilasaihi vidyan muhur muhurakampam udiksha. If you want to break it, muhurakampam udiksha chatvam, comma, bhirus tvayata jagade mridu hasa bhaja.
In my book it says Beetas
Beetas.
Tvayata.
Okay, yeah, some books have beatas, so just change it to be rus. Some books have beatas, so yeah, change it to be rus. Kamo vasantamalyanilabandhushali kanta kataksha vishikair vikasat vilasaihi vidhyan muhurmuhurakampamudiksha chatvam bhirustvayata jagade mriduhasa bhaja.
Kamo vasantamalaya nilabandhushali kanta kataksha vishikair vikasat vilasaihi vindyan muhur
Vidyan.
Yes, sir. Vidyan muhur kampa mudiksha chatvam bhirustvayata jagade muduhasa bhaja.
Mriduhasa.
Mriduhasa bhaja. Kamo vasantamalaya nilabandhushali kanta kataksha vishikair vikasat vilasaihi vidyan muhur kampad mudiksha chatvam bhirustvayata jagade mruduhasa bhaja.
Kamo vasantamalaya nilabandhushali kanta kataksha vishikhair vikasadvilasaihi vidhyan muhurakampamudiksha chatvam bhirustvayatha jagade mruduhasa bhaja. Kamo vasantamalaya nilabandhushali kanta kataksha vishikhair vikasadvilasaihi vidhyan muhurakampamudiksha chatvam bhirustvayatha jagade mruduhasa bhaja.
Stanza 6. Bhityalamangja vasanta suranganavo manmanasam tviha jushadvamite bhruvanaha tvam vismahena paritastuvatamateisham pradarshayasva paricharaka katarakshihi. So, so Angaja means the one who doesn't have Angam, one who doesn't have a body, which is referring to Kamadeva. Because when Kamadeva once tried to distract Shiva, Shiva opened his third eye and he got burnt. So from that point, he doesn't have a form or body. So that's why he's called as Angaja. So Narayana is telling him, O Angaja, O Kamadeva, and all the people who have come here. So they were all very worried. They were all concerned. How is it that nothing seems to distract these people? Any kind of distractions they do, they are not getting affected at all. So he says, don't worry, right? Let me show you. You showed me what you had, right? With all these distractions and everything. Let me show you what I have, right? And then he shows all even, nicer or prettier looking women and even nicer things which are around him, and says, even these things don't distract me, right? I'm not distracted by these things. So whatever you are trying to distract me with is of no value, right? So don't get worried that whatever attempt you did to distract me failed, because he's just showing that I've reached that level of yogic power that these things don't distract me. And then he showed Narayana and show them what they have around them, which is even more prettier and nicer. So Bhityalam Angaja Vasanta Surangana Bo, comma, Manmanasam Tviha. So it and then we, Tviha, Jushadvamiti Bruvanaha. Tvam Vismayena Paritaha, put is Paritas, Stuvatamathaisham, comma, Pradarshayaha, put is again, Pradarshayas, Swa Paricharaka Khata Rakshihi. Bhityalamangja vasanta suranganabho manmanasam tviha jushadvamite bhruvanaha tvam vismahena paritastuvatamathayisham pradarshayasva paricharaka katarakshihi. Sandeep, you're on mute.
Manmanasam tviha jushadvamiti ब्रुवाणः त्वं विस्मयेन परितस्तवतामतैषां प्रादर्शयस्वपरिचारकता स्वपरिचारक कातराक्षीः
The third line, last word, sthuvatam.
स्तुवतामतैषाम्. Okay. भीत्यालमङ्गज वसन्त सुराङ्गनावो मन्मानसं त्विह जुषध्वमिति ब्रुवाणः त्वं विस्मयेन परितस्तुवतामतैषां प्रादर्शयस्व परिचारकता कथा कातराक्षीः.
भीत्यालमङ्गज वसन्त सुराङ्गनावो मन्मानसं त्विह जुषध्वमिति ब्रुवाणः त्वं विस्मयेन परितस्तुवतामथैषां प्रादर्शयस्व परिचारककातराक्षीः. भीत्यालमङ्गज वसन्त सुराङ्गनावो मन्मानसं त्विह जुषध्वमिति ब्रुवाणः त्वं विस्मयेन परितस्तुवतामथैषां प्रादर्शयस्व परिचारककातराक्षीः.
Stanza 7. Sammohanaya milita madanadayasте tvaddhasika parimalaiः किल मोहमापुः धत्तां त्वया च जगृहुस्त्रपयैव सर्वस्वर्वासि गर्भशमनीं पुनरूर्वशीं ताम्. So then Kamadeva and everybody else who were just amazed at what was actually happening when Narayana and Nara kind of showed them that. So then what Narayana does is he taps his thigh, right? Pats his thigh, and then out of his thigh comes somebody. Any guess who it is?
Urvashi.
Urvashi, because Uru is referring to the thigh, right? So Uru Bhaga means from your thigh. So because she was born or she came out of the thigh of Narayana, her name was given as Urvashi, right? So this Urvashi, which you kind of think of in Indra's, one of the women who's in Indra's heaven, that Urvashi, right? So this Urvashi then comes out of your thigh, and then you then tell Kamadeva and all the people who are assembled here, take this product of mine, take this person who's actually come out of me, and then, go back to Indra, right? So essentially what the intention here was, they all came to distract Nara and Narayana. And then this was kind of saying, you cannot distract Nara and Narayana. And then he humbled their pride. And also the goal was to humble Indra's pride. So anyway, so he out of him came Urvashi, who was the most prettiest of all the other women who had come to distract Nara and Narayana. And then he tells them, you take Urvashi and then you go back to Indra, right? And he sends them back. So Sammohanaya milita madanadayaste, tvaddhasika parimalaihi, is there put a ich sound, parimalaihi kila mohamapuhu dattam tvaya cha jagruhus trapayaiva sarva, and then put a plus, swarvasi garva shamanim punar urvashim, if you want to break it, punar urvashim tham. Sammohanaya milita madanadayaste tvaddhasika parimalaiः kila mohamapuhu dattam tvaya cha jagruhustrapayaiva sarvasvarvasi garvashamanim punarurvashim tam.
Sammohanaya milita madanadayaste tvaddhasika parimalaiः kila mohamapuhu dattam tvaya cha jagruhustrapayaiva sarvasigar vashimanim punarurvashim tam.
The last line, fourth line, first word, swarvasi.
Swarvasi garvashamani.
Yeah.
Sammohanaya milita madanadayaste tvaddhasika parimalaiः kila mohamapuhu dattam tvaya cha jagruhustrapayaiva swarvasigar vasamanim punarurvashim tam. Sorry.
No, that's no, correct only. The Swarvasi is referring to the Swarga. So the person who resides in Swarga, which is Urvashi. That's why that's Swar is coming there.
Swarvasika.
सम्मोहनाय मिलिता मदनादयस्ते त्वद्दासिका परिमलैः किल मोहमापुः दत्तां त्वया च जगृहुस्त्रपयैव सर्वस्वर्वासि गर्वशमनीं पुनरुर्वशीं ताम् सम्मोहनाय मिलिता मदनादयस्ते त्वद्दासिका परिमलैः किल मोहमापुः दत्तां त्वया च जगृहुस्त्रपयैव सर्वासि गर्वशमनीं पुनरुर्वशीं ताम्.
Purna again, fourth line, first word is Swarvasi. Okay. Is
அங்க ராஜேஸ்வாமி அங்க வந்து சர்வாக்கு அப்புறம் கமா இருக்கா? தத்தாம்
in the line, third line.
third line.
So third line kapra there's a plus.
Plus.
Trapayeva sarva swarvasi garva shamani. Okay. Stanza 8. Drishtpurvashim tava katham cha nishamya shakraham paryakulo jani bhavan mahima vamarshat evam prashantaramaniya taravatarat tvattodhiko varada krishna tanustvameva. So now when all of them go back to Indra, right, and then they go explain the story of what happened, and then they also take Urvashi along with them. So when Indra hears the story of how, you know, they all got humbled and all the things that how Urvashi came about and everything, then he also, you know, realized that you know, this person who is there is the Lord himself, and then he realized his mistake, and then his pride came down, which was the original intention. And here Bhattaripat says that this avataram of yours as Narayana avataram is Ramaniya, is very beautiful, that it is only excelled by Krishna Dhanustvameva. Only when you took the avataram as Krishna, that avataram is still the best. But this avataram is equally good, and it's kind of a close second. He says this is such a very nice and gentle and very beautiful avataram of yours, that this is only excelled by the Krishna avataram that you take later. So Drishtvor Vashim Tava Katham Cha Nishamya Shakraha. Shakraha is referring to Indra. Shakraha, comma Paryakulojhani Bhavan Mahimava Marshat Evam Prashanta Ramaniya Taravatarat. One word. Put it at the end of that line and a comma. So Ramaniya Taravatarat. So Avatarat is the last word there. But you say that together. Ramaniya Taravatarat, comma. Next line you will have two it. Remove one of that it off. Tvattodhiko Varada Krishna Tanus Tvameva. Drishtvor Vashim Tava Katham cha Nishamya Shakraham Paryakulo jani bhavan mahima vamarshat evam prashantaramaniya taravatarat tvattodhiko varada Krishna tanustvameva.
Drishtvorvasim tava katham cha nishamya shakraha paryakulo jani bhavan mahima vamarshat evam prashantaramaniya taravatarat tvattodhiko varada Krishna tanustvameva. Drishtvorvasim katham Drishtvorvasim tava katham cha nishamya shakraha Paryakulo jani bhavan mahima vamarshat evam prashantaramaniya taravatarat tvattodhiko varada Krishna tanustvameva.
दृष्टोर्वशीं तव कथां च निशम्य शक्रः पर्याकुलो जनि भवन् महिमावमर्मात् एवं प्रशान्तरमणीयतरावतारात् त्वत्तोऽधिको वरद कृष्णतनुस्त्वमेव.
And that Purna on the second line, Bhavan Mahimava Marshat.
Okay. Bhavan
Mahimava Marshat.
Okay. Mahima. Okay. Mahimava Marshmat.
Marshat.
Oh, Marshat. Okay.
No, Marshat. M-A-R. Marshat.
Okay. Marshat. Okay. दृष्टोर्वशीं तव कथां च निशम्य शक्रः पर्याकुलो जनिभवन् महिमावमर्शात् एवं प्रशान्तरमणीयतरावतारात् त्वत्तोऽधिको वरद कृष्णतनुस्त्वमेव.
Stanza 9. Dakshastu dhaturathilalanaya rajoндho natyadritastvai cha kashtamashantiraasit yena vyarundasa bhavattanumeva sharvam yagne cha vairapishune swasutam vyamanit. So if you remember how we started this chapter, we said Daksho Virinchatanayo Tamanos Tanuja, right? Daksha, who was born out of the mind of Brahma. That Daksha had 16 daughters, and he gave 13 of them to Dharmaputra. And Dharmaputra and one of them got Narayana as son, that was 30. Then he gave one to Swaha, Swaha went to Agni, and then he gave Sati to Girishe Twadamshe, to Shiva, who is your Amsham itself. That's how the first stanza started. So now he's kind of coming to that continuation. We're saying now this Daksha, when he was made one of the Prajapatis by Brahma, he got very Rajondo. The Rajagunam in him became so increased that he became very arrogant, right, and filled with pride. So once what happens is Daksha, when he's actually walking in, when one of the sacrifice was performing, when was happening, everybody gets up to respect him, but two people don't. One is Brahma, one is Shiva. They don't get up to respect. But of course, Brahma being more senior to him, so he doesn't have any problem with Brahma, right? But he now gets a problem with Shiva. That's when he then conducts another yajnam where he doesn't invite his son-in-law Shiva to come. So when that's what, but it's just saying in a very quick story, he's saying that he got so arrogant because of Rajogunam that he then, once he had this issue with Shiva and Brahma, then he then conducts a yajna where he doesn't invite Shiva. And that's when Sati comes, right? And she comes in and questions Daksha, why you didn't invite me and my husband? So that story he's just saying very quickly in one stanza. And that's why Daksha then insults his own daughter and his son-in-law. So Dakshastu Dhaturati Lalanaya Rajondho, Natya Dhritas Tvai cha Kashtam Ashanti Rasit. Kashtam Ashanti Rasit. Yena Vyarundha sa Bhavat Tanumeva Sharvam. So he says, you Bhavat Tanum, this Sharva, who is referring to Shiva, is you only in the form of Shiva. So he's disrespecting you. So Bhavat Tanumeva Sharvam, Yagne cha Vaira Pishune Swasutam Vyamanit. Dakshastu Dhaturati Lalanaya Rajondho Natya Dhritastvai cha Kashtamashanti Rasit Yena Vyarundhasa Bhavat Tanumeva Sharvam Yagne cha Vaira Pishune Swasutam Vyamanit.
Dakshastu Dhaturatilalanaya Rajondho Natya Dhrutastvai cha Kashtamashantiraasit Yena Pyarundasa Bhavattanumeva Sharvam Yagne cha Vairapishune Swasutam Vyamanit. Dakshastu Dhaturatilalanaya Rajondho Natya Dhrutastvai cha Kashtamashantiraasit Yena Vyarundasa Bhavattanumeva Sharvam Yagne cha Vairapishune Swasutam Vyamanit.
Dakshastu Dhaturatilalanaya Rajondho Natya Dhritastvai cha Kashtamashantiraasit Yena Vyarundhasa Bhavattanumeva Sharvam Yagne cha Vairapishune Swasutam Vyamanit. Dakshastu Dhaturatilalanaya Rajondho Natya Dhritastvai cha Kashtamashantiraasit Yena Vyarundhasa Bhavattanumeva Sharvam Yagne cha Vairapishune Swasutam Vyamanit.
Last stanza. Krudhesha mardidamaka satukritta shirsho deva prasadita harada talabdha jivaha Twatpurita kratuvarah punarapashantim Satvam Prashantikara Pahi Marutpuresha. So then you all know the story. Then Sati goes there, and then Daksha, and then she has a discussion with Daksha, and then she then burns herself with her yogic power because of the insult, because her father didn't invite, etc. So Sati then, when she burns, then Shiva then out of his matted locks, out of his hair, he creates Veerabhadra. This Veerabhadra then comes out, and then he goes and cuts off Daksha's head, and then all the gods go pray to Shiva, and then he takes the goat's head and puts it on Daksha, right? And then the yajna then gets completed, right? So that's the kind of story of the Daksha thing. So here it says that, you know, you, O Narayana, you then help Daksha complete that yajna, right? Eventually, with his goat head on his head on his body. And then Sattam Prashantikara, you, O Lord, who bestows calmness on all. Prashantikara, you restore calmness everywhere. And O Marutpuresha, O Lord of Guruvayur, please protect me. So Krudhesha Mardita Makaha, put is Makas Satu Kritta Shirsho, comma, Deva Prasadita Haradata Labdha Jivaha, Twat Purita Kratuvaraha, put if Kratuvaraf Punarapa Shantim, comma, Satwam Prashantikara Pahi Marutpuresha.
Rajesh, first line on the Kritta Shirshahava, Shirshova.
Shirshaha, just change it to Shirsho. It's gently, and the Visarga becomes O in some cases. So Kritta Shirsho. Krudesha Mardita Makas Satu Kritta Shirsho Deva Prasadita Harada Talabdha Jivaha Twatpurita Kratuvarah Punarapa Shantim Satvam Prashantikara Pahi Marutpuresha.
Kruddeshamarditamakas Krutta-sirsho Deva Prasadita Haradata Labdha Jivaha Tvatpurita Kratuvarah Punarapa Shantim Satvam Prashantikara Pahi Marutpuresha. Kruddeshamarditamakas Krutta-sirsho Deva Prasadita Haradata Labdha Jivaha Tvatpurita Kratuvarah Punarapa Shantim Satvam Prashantikara Pahi Marutpuresha.
Krudhesha Mardita Makhas Satu Krutta Sirsho Deva Prasadita Haradatha Labdha Jivaha Tvatpurita Kratuvarah Punarapa Shantim Satvam Prashantikara Pahi Marutpuresha. Krudhesha Mardita Makhas Satu Krutta Sirsho Deva Prasadita Haradatha Labdha Jivaha Tvatpurita Kratuvarah Punarapa Shantim Satvam Prashantikara Pahi Marutpuresha.
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Okay, that completes this chapter. So we'll go to 21. So 21 is Jambu Dvipadishu, which means in the whole region of Jambu Dvipa, Bhagavat Upasana Prakara Varnanam, how you are worshipped in the various regions of Jambu Dvipa. That's the kind of meaning or the title of this chapter. So here, what it tells us, in each region, it could kind of each of the stanza here is like a prayer. He's saying, I am praying to you who is in this form in this region. That is pretty much the structure of this entire chapter. Okay, so each chapter, each stanza is going to refer to one region, one portion of Jambu Dvipa, and it says in what form you are residing in that region and how you are worshipped in that region. So that is the context of it. So I'll just keep that map in my phone ready. So stanza 1. Madhyodbhave bhuva ilavrita namni varshe Gauri pradhana vanita janamatra bhaji Sharvena mantra nutebes samupasyamanam Sankarshanatmakam adhishwara samshrayetvam. So here the first region he is referring to is in the middle. The whole earth, of course, earth is spherical, but there's a central point. That central point, or what is defined as the center of the earth, at least by Bhagavatam, So that center point of earth is this region called Ailavrita or Ilavrita. So if you kind of zoom in, or if you have a printout of the map, that the image I sent you, right? There's a small red region, right? Kind of next to the Kashmir area, right? To the right of it, there's this region called Ilavrita. So that Ilavrita, in that region of Jambudvipa, which is Gauri Pradhan Vanitajana, is primarily inhabited by women who have Gauri as their chief. So in that region, oh Lord, the people there who are present there, you are present there as Sankarshana. So the Sankarshana is it's also like it's one of the energies or one of the forms of Vishnu as well. And so which is at the bottom of the 13 regions, which is at the very bottom. So that's Sankarshana. So you are residing in that region of Ilavrita as Sankarshana, and you are worshipped in that region in your form of man woman form, which is the Ardhanarishwara form. So you are residing there as Sankarshana, you are worshipped in that region as Ardhanarishwara, and that region is primarily with women with Gauri as their chief. So that form of yours, I am I am praying to, right? That's what it is. Comes from Samshraya. I am seeking refuge in that form of yours, in the form of Ardhanarishwara, who is residing in the region of Ailavrita. That's the first answer. So Madhyodbhave Bhuva Ilavrita Namni Varshe, Gauri Pradhana Vanitajana Matra Bhaji Sharvena Mantra Nutibihi is there put is Nutibis Samupasyamanam, Sankarshanatmakam Adhishwara, or you can say it together, but if you want to break it, Sankarshanatmakam Adhishwara Samshraye Twam. Madhyodbhave Bhuvaila Vritanamni Varshe Gauri Pradhana Vanita Janamatra Bhaji Sharvena Mantra Nutibhis Samupasyamanam Sankarshanatmakam Adhishwara Samshraye Twam.
Madhyodbhave Bhuva Ilavrutanamni Varshe Gauri Pradhana Vanita Janamatra Bhaji Sarvena Mantranutibhis Samupasyamanam Sankarshanatmakamadhishwara Samsraye Twam. Madhyodbhave Bhuva Ilavrutanamni Varshe Gauri Pradhana Vanita Janamatra Bhaji Sarvena Mantranutibhis Samupasyamanam Sankarshanatmakamadhishwara Samsraye Twam.
Madhyodbhave Bhuva Ilavrutanamni Varshe Gauri Pradhana Vanita Janamatra Bhaji Sharvena Mantranutibhis Samupasyamanam Sankarshanatmakamadhishwara Samshraye Twam. Madhyodbhave Bhuva Ilavrutanamni Varshe Gauri Pradhana Vanita Janamatra Bhaji Sharvena Mantranutibhis Samupasyamanam Sankarshanatmakamadhishwara Samshraye Twam.
Answer 2. Bhadrashvanamaka Ilavrita Purva Varshe Bhadrashravho Bhirishabih Parinu Yamanam Kalpanta Ghuda Nigamodharana Pravinam Dhyayami Deva Hayashirsha Tanum Bhavantam. Dhyayami, I am now meditating on you, who is in the form of Hayashirsha, who's the form of a head of a horse. So Hayashirsha, who at the time of Kalpanta Gud, at the end of the Kalpa, when the Vedas were getting lost at the end, big deluge that happens, you came in the form of Hayagriva and restored all the Vedas, right, to Brahma. So that Hayagriva form of yours, I'm meditating on you in the region of Bhadrashrava. So this Bhadrashrava, it says, is Ilavrita Purva Varshe. So it's on the east of Ilavrita. So you can see the dark blue region, right? I think kind of like the China area. It's what it says. So in that region of Bhadrashravana region, which is east of Ilavrita, where the rishis who are there in that region, who are called as Bhadrashravas, because they are in the region of Bhadrashrava, they're calling Bhadrashravas. That's the name of the rishis who are there. They worship you in that form of Hayagriva. So I am also dhyayami. I am also meditating on that form of yours who is in that region. So Bhadrashva Namaka Ilavrita Purva Varshe, comma Bhadrashravobhir Rishibhihi, is there put a F, Rishibif Parinuyamanam Kalpanta Gudha Nigamodharana Pravinam Dhyayami Deva Hayashirsha Tanum Bhavantam. Bhadrashvanamaka Ilavrita Purva Varshe Bhadrashravobhirishibhih Parinuyamanam Kalpanta Gudha Nigamodharana Pravinam Dhyayami Deva Hayashirsha Tanum Bhavantam.
Bhadrashvanamaka Ilavrita Purva Varshe Bhadrasravobhirishibhih Parinuyamanam Kalpanta Gudha Nigamodharana Pravinam Dhyayami Deva Hayashirsha Tanum Bhavantam. Bhadrashvanamaka Ilavrita Purva Varshe Bhadrasravobhirishibhih Parinuyamanam Kalpanta Gudha Nigamodharana Pravinam Dhyayami Deva Hayashirsha Tanum Bhavantam.
Bhadrashvanamaka Ilavrita Purva Varshe Bhadrashravobhirishibhih Parinuyamanam Kalpanta Gudha Nigamodharana Pravinam Dhyayami Deva Hayashirsha Tanum Bhavantam.
Purna, that second line, Bhadrashravobhir Rishibhi, not Ru. R sound, not Ru sound. Rishibhih.
Rishibhih. Bhadrashvanamaka Ilavrita Purva Varshe Bhadrashravobhirishibhih Parinuyamanam Kalpanta Gudha Nigamodharana Pravinam Dhyayami Deva Hayashirsha Tanum Bhavantam.
Stanza 3. Dhyayami Dakshinagate Harivarsha Varshe Prahlada Mukhya Purushaih Parishevyamanam Uttunga Shanta Dhavalakritimeka Shuddha Jnana Pradam Naraharim Bhagavan Bhavantam. So again, Dhyayami, I am meditating on that form of yours in the region of Harivarsha. So Harivarsha, it says is Dakshinagate. So the center, what is taken as Ilavrita. So in Ilavrita's southern portion, which is Harivarsha. So in that image, it's like, I think, the aqua color, right? That is there. So in that Harivarsha Varshe, in that region of Harivarsha, he says you are worshipped by Prahlada and other Mukhya Purusha, and other well-known and famous people. Of course, Prahlada means it's Narasimha, right? So he says, that's why he says you are Naraharim. So Nara and Hari combined, Narasimha. So you are worshipped in the form of Narasimha, who, by the way, he says is Uttunga Shanta. He says you are a very calm person. So Narasimha means we generally think of it as a Narasimha Avataram. We think is very ghoram, angry Avataram. Which is you are Narasimha says a very Shantam Avataram. He says you, for that moment you were, you were frightening and everything, but the moment Prahlada came to you, you became very calm. So you in the form of Narasimha, who is Uttunga, who is very tall and is Dhavlakriti, is white colored, white in color, tall, and in the form of Narasimha, who is a very calm. So Prahlada and others are worshipping in that region. So on that form of yours, Dhyayami, I am meditating and I am praying to you. So Dhyayami Dakshina Gate Hari Varsha Varshe, comma Prahlada Mukhya Purushaihi, is there put a F, Purushaif Parishevya Manam Uttunga Shanta Dhavala Kritim Eka Shuddha, Kritim Eka Shuddha, and then put a plus Jnana Pradam Naraharim Bhagavan Bhavantam. ध्यायामि दक्षिणगते हरिवर्षवर्षे प्रह्लादमुख्यपुरुषैः परिसेव्यमानम् उत्तुङ्गशान्तधवलाकृतिमेकशुद्धज्ञानप्रदं नरहरिं भगवन् भवन्तम्
ध्यायामि दक्षिणगते हरिवर्षवर्षे प्रह्लादमुख्यपुरुषैः परिसेव्यमानम् उत्तुङ्गशान्तधवलाकृतिमेकशुद्धज्ञानप्रदं नरहरिं भगवन् भवन्तम् ध्यायामि दक्षिणगते हरिवर्षवर्षे प्रह्लादमुख्यपुरुषैः परिसेव्यमानम् उत्तुङ्गशान्तधवलाकृतिमेकशुद्धज्ञानप्रदं नरहरिं भगवन् भवन्तम्
ध्यायामि दक्षिणगते हरिवर्षवर्षे प्रह्लादमुख्यपुरुषैः परिसेव्यमानम् उत्तुङ्गशान्तधवलाकृतिमेकशुद्धज्ञानप्रदं नरहरिं भगवन् भवन्तम् ध्यायामि दक्षिणगते हरिवर्षवर्षे प्रह्लादमुख्यपुरुषैः परिसेव्यमानम् उत्तुङ्गशान्तधवलाकृतिमेकशुद्धज्ञानप्रदं नरहरिं भगवन् भवन्तम्.
It's halfway, we'll switch. Gopiji, can you be a student?
Yeah, sure.
Meera, are you there today? No, Sudha, you can be a student today. Okay. Stanza 4. वर्षे प्रतीचि ललितात्मनि केतुमाले लीला विशेष ललित स्मित शोभनांगम लक्ष्म्या प्रजापति सुतैश्च निषेव्यमानं तस्याः प्रियाय धृत काम तनुं भजे त्वाम्. So bhaje tvam, I'm worshipping you. Who is now? He is now going to the Pratichi. He's going to the west side of Ilavrita or Harivarsha, which was said previously, is the Ketumala. This region of Ketumala, which you can see in that, I think, pink color in the image that is sent. He says this region of Ketumala, which is extremely beautiful. That's why he says Lalitatmani. Lalita is beautiful. It's a very beautiful region of Ketumala. So you are worshipped there. You have taken the form of Kamatanum. You've taken the form of Kamadeva. For what? Only for Lakshmiya, only for the benefit of Lakshmi, for Lakshmi Devi to like you. You've taken the form of Kamadeva for Lakshmi Devi to fall in love with you, and also Prajapati Sutaischa. So all the son of Prajapati. So that actually comes in I think one of the earlier chapters, which we'll cover in the next session, right? Of the Prachetas and all those people who then go do tapas for so long underwater that they at one point they realize that they actually don't even want the Lord to come in front, because they feel that if the Lord comes in front of me, then I will lose the pleasure of meditating and thinking about the Lord, right? Because then the journey comes to an end. So they loved the process of meditation and thinking about the Lord so much, they said, you know what, take your time, right? Don't come soon. So that's what even Bhartripad says, that unlike for Dhruva, in whose case you came off in 5 months, for them you took like thousands of years to come, because they were enjoying the process of worshipping the Lord, right? So he says that Prajapati Sutaischa, son of Prajapatis, and for Lakshmiya, who really enjoy your form and enjoy having you. So for them, for their benefit, you are in the form of Kamadeva, in the form of a beautiful person there in the region which is west of in the west region in the Ketumala. So Varshe Pratichi Lalitatmani Ketumale, comma Leela Vishesha Lalita Smita Shobhanangam Lakshmiya Prajapati Sutaischa Nishevyamanam, comma Tasyaha, put a F, Tasyah Priyaya Dhrita Kamatanum Bhaje Tvam. Varshe Pratichi Lalitatmani Ketumale Leela Vishesha Lalita Smita Shobhanangam Lakshmiya Prajapati Sutaischa Nishevyamanam Tasyah Priyaya Dhrita Kamatanum Bhaje Tvam.
Shall I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Varshe Pratichi Lalitatmani Ketumale Leela Vishesha Lalita Smita Shobhanangam लक्ष्म्या प्रजापतिसुतैश्च निषेव्यमानं तस्याः प्रियाय धृतकामतनुं भजे त्वाम् वर्षे प्रतीचि ललितात्मनि केतुमाले लीलाविशेष ललितास्मितशोभनाङ्गं लक्ष्म्या प्रजापतिसुतैश्च निषेव्यमानं तस्याः प्रियाय धृतकामतनुं भजे त्वाम्
वर्षे प्रतीचि ललितात्मनि केतुमाले लीला विशेष ललितस्मित शोभनांगं लक्ष्म्या प्रजापतिसुतैश्च निषेव्यमानं तस्या प्रियाय धृतकामतनुं भजे त्वाम् वर्षे प्रतीचि ललितात्मनि केतुमाले लीला विशेष ललितस्मित शोभनांगं लक्ष्म्या प्रजापतिसुतैश्च निषेव्यमानं तस्या प्रियाय धृतकामतनुं भजे त्वाम्
रम्ये ह्युदीचि खलु रम्यकनाम्नि वर्षे तद्वर्षनाथमनुवर्य सपर्यमानं भक्तैकवत्सलममत्सरहृत्सुभान्तं मत्स्याकृतिं भुवननाथ भजे भवन्तं. So bhaje, so I'm worshipping you, bhavantam you, in this region, it says, which is to the north of Ailavrita, right? In this region called as Ramyaka. So it's a yellow in the image, right? So on top of the Ramyaka Namni Varshe, in the region called as Ramyaka, which is Ramye, it's Ramyaka, it's called because it's Ramya, it's beautiful. So in that region called Ramyaka Namni Varshe, you are then worshipped by the Vaivaswata Manu. So if you remember the 32nd chapter when we did Matsyavataram, the Satyavrata, who was the king, who was at the time of the Pralayam when the transition was happening, and then he became Vivaswan, son of Vivaswan, son of the sun god. So Vaivaswata Manu, who is the current Manu. So you are worshipped by that Manu, right, in that region, in the form of course, Matsyakritam, in the form of fish, because that was happened during the Matsyavataram, right? So he is worshipping you in that fish form in that region. So I am also Bhaje Bhavantam. I am also worshipping you in that same, that Matsya avataram of yours. I am praying in the region of Ramyaka, where you are residing. So Ramye Hyudichi. So her and you together, ich and you actually. So Hyudichi Khalu Ramyaka Namni Varshe, comma, Tad Varsha Natha Manuvarya Saparya Manam Bhaktaika Vatsalam Amatsara, if you want to break it, Vatsalam Amatsara Hritsu Bhantam, comma, Matsya Kritim Bhuvananath Bhaje Bhavantam. Ramye Hyudichi Khalu Ramyakanamni Varshe Tadvarshanatha Manuvarya Saparyamanam Bhaktaika Vatsalam Amatsara Hritsu Bhantam Matsya Kritim Bhuvananath Bhaje Bhavantam.
रम्ये ह्युदीचि खलु रम्यकनाम्नि वर्षे तद्वर्षनाथमनुवर्य सपर्यमानं भक्तेकवत्सल अमत्सरहृत्सुभान्तं मत्स्याकृतिं भुवननाथ भजे भवन्तं रम्ये ह्युदीचि खलु रम्यकनाम्नि वर्षे तद्वर्षनाथमनुवर्य सपर्यमानं भक्तेकवत्सल अमत्सरहृत्सुभान्तं मत्स्याकृतं भुवननाथ भजे भवन्तं.
Rajesh, one question. Third line la Mamat Sara Hutsuva Sura Hutsuva.
Mam Amat Sara Hutsuva.
உங்களுக்கு சூனை இருக்கு. रम्येऽप्युदीचि खलु रम्यकनाम्नि वर्षे तद्वर्षनाथमनुवर्य सपर्यमानं भक्तैकवत्सलममत्सुरहृत्सुभान्तं मत्स्याकृतिं भुवननाथ भजे भवन्तं रम्येऽप्युदीचि खलु रम्यकनाम्नि वर्षे तद्वर्षनाथमनुवर्य सपर्यमानं भक्तैकवत्सलममत्सुरहृत्सुभान्तं
Saran.
Sara, Sura Madhudeva.
भक्ते
அப்படியே டால.
सरहृत्सुबान्तं मत्स्याकृतिं भुवननाथ भजे भवन्तम्.
Stanza 6. Varsham hiranmaya samahvayamautaraham asinamadridhriti karmathakamathangam samsevate pitrgana pravaroryamayam tam tvam bhajami bhagavan parachinmayatman. So Chit is consciousness, Parachinmaya is the supreme consciousness. So you who's of supreme consciousness itself, tam tvam bhajami, I am meditating or I am praying to you. Now in the region of, he says, out north of the Ramyaka. So I think they had sent 2 images or 3 images. I forgot how many I sent, but one of the second image, if you go to, there's a kind of orange region, which is the north of Ramyaka, which is Hiranya Varsha, it says, which is Hiranmaya. Hiranmaya region is called Hiranya, that's all. So in that Hiranmaya region, you are then worshipped in the form of Karmatha Kamatang, in the form of a tortoise. So previously we saw Matsya Avataram, right? So here you are in the form of a tortoise. You are worshipped, and then you are worshipped by the chief of the Pitru, the Pitru's chief. He worships you in the form of a tortoise, in that form of Avataram, where you held the entire you held the entire Mandara mountain, right, from the Avataram. So in that form of yours, he is worshipping you. So I am also Dhyayami, I am also worshipping you in that form of the Kurma Avataram of yours in that region. So Varsham Hiranmaya Samahvayam, ih and va, Samahvayam out Raham, im, put a im at the end of that line and a comma. Next line, the Masi becomes a. Asinam Adri Dhriti Karmatha Kamathangam Samsevate Pitrgana Pravarorya Mayam, comma, tam tvam bhajami bhagavan Parachinmayatman. Varsham hiranmaya samahvayamautaraham asinamadridhriti karmathakamathangam samsevate pitrgana pravaroryamayam tam tvam bhajami bhagavan parachinmayatman.
वर्षं हिरण्मय समाह्वय मौतराहं आसीनमद्रिधृति कर्मठकामढाङ्गं संसेवते पितृगणप्रवरोर्यमायं तं त्वां भजामि भगवन् परचिन्मयात्मन्. वर्षं हिरण्मय समाह्वय मौतराहं.
Sorry, Gopiji, there you can break it at the im samahvayam autaraham if you are breaking it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Varsham hiranmaya samahvayam autaraham asenamadridhriti karmathakamadhangam samsevate pitrgana pravaroryamayam tam tvam bhajami bhagavan parachinmayatman.
वर्षं हिरण्मय समाह्वय मौत्तराहम् आसीनमद्रिधृति कर्मट कामटाङ्गं संसेवे पितृगणप्रवरोर्यमायं तं त्वां भजामि भगवन् परिचिन्मयात्मन्.
And that's the third line, samsevate first,
samsevate,
and then last line, parachinmayatman.
Parachinmayatman. Okay. The first line enakku varala. Varsham hiranmaya samahvaya mautaraham. Correct?
Yeah, it's correct.
Okay. Varsham hiranmaya samahvaya mautaraham asinamadridhriti karmata kamatangam samsevate pitrugana pravaroryamayam tam tvam bhajami bhagavan parachinmayatman.
Stanza 7. Kinchotareshu kurusho priyaya dharanya samsevito mahita mantra nuti prabedhaihi damshtragra ghrishta ghana prishta garishta varshma tvam pahi vigyanuta yajna varaha murte. So now north of the Hiranmaya Varsha in the region called Kuru, the Kuru region, which is Uttara Kuru, if you look at the map there. So in that Uttara Kuru, you are then worshipped in the form of Yajna Varaha Murti, in the form of Yajna Varaha Murti, which is the Varaha Avataram in the form of the divine boar. So you worshipped in the first we saw Matsya Avataram, Kurma Avataram, now which is Varaha Avataram. So you worshipped in the form of the Yajna Varaha Murti by none other than your consort, which is Mother Earth, because in that thing you rescued Mother Earth, right? Bhudevi you rescued. So she worships you. Dharanya, that Mother Earth is worshipping you in that form, in that region in Kuru. So in the form of various Mahita Mantra, in various hymns and prayers and everything, she's worshipping you. So I am also worshipping you in that form, in that in the Kuru region as Yajna Varaha Murti. Kinchothareshu Kurushu Priyaya Dharanya, Samsevito Mahita Mantra Nuti Prabedhaihi Damshtragra. So tra and gra. Damshtragra Grishta Ghana Prishtha Garishta Varshma, Tvam Pahi Vigyanuta Yajna Varaha Murte. Kinchothareshu Kurushu Priyaya Dharanya Samsevito Mahita Mantra Nuti Prabhedaihi Damshtragra Grishta Ghana Prishtha Garishta Varshma, Tvam Pahi Vigyanuta Yajna Varaha Murte.
Kim chotereshu purushu priyaya dharanya samsevito mahita mandranudhi prabhedaihi damshtragra ghrishta ghana prishta garishta varshma tvam pahi vijnanuta yajna varaha murte. Kim chotereshu purushu priyaya dharanya samsevito mahita Mandranuti Prabhedaihi Damshtragra Krishta Ghana Prishta Garishta Varshma Tvam Pahi Vijnanuta Yajna Varaha Murte.
Kim chotareshu purushu priyaya dharanya samsevito mahita mantranuti prabedaihi damshtragra grishta ghana prishta garishta varshma tvam pahi vigyanuta yajna varaha murte. Kim chotareshu
Sudha, அந்த இடத்துல இன் அந்த இம் கிடையாது, அந்த ஞாவோட half தான் அது. So in kinchothareshu first line.
Kim
Kim கிடையாது, in sound அது. அந்த ஞா, அந்த சான்ஸ்கிரிட் ஞாவோட half இருக்கும் அதுல.
எனக்கு கிம்னு போட்டிருக்கீங்க.
ஓகே.
किंचोतरेषु कुरुषु प्रियया धरण्या संसेवितो महितमन्त्रनुति प्रभेदैः दंष्ट्राग्रगृष्टगणपृष्ठगरिष्ठवर्ष्मा त्वं पाहि विज्ञनुत यज्ञवराहमूर्ते.
Answer 8. Yam yam disham bhajati kim purushakyavarshe samsevito hanumata dhrida bhakti bhaja Sita bhirama paramadbhuta rupashali Ramatmakah parilasan paripahi Vishnu. So now let me just open, sorry, my image went away. So if you kind of go back to the first image, right? So in the south portion of Ilavrita, it says this Kim Purushakya Varshe. So on the previous line, it's in only because and the cha is coming later so the in the thing, right? Another one the kin arde, always it's Kim Purusha is the name of that place, but in the first previous stanza first time, because cha comes, so that dot changes the sound of im or in depending on what comes later. Another than the kinchota ratio, but in that it's in Kim Purusha kena. But the region is Kim Purusha. So anyway, so the region which is south of Ilavrita, he says in the region of Kim Purushakya Varshe, you are worshipped by Hanuman, Hanumata Dhrida Bhakti Bhaja, who has such firm devotion to you. So if Hanuman is worshipping, of course it has to be Rama, right? So you are Hanuman is worshipping you in your form as Rama, and you are then of course also along with in the form of Rama, which is which is a wonderful, splendid form, which also captivates Sita, and Sita also is worshipping you in that region. In that form, should that form of you, Paripahi Vishnu. Oh Vishnu, please protect me. I am also praying to you in the form of Lord Rama in that region. So yam yam disham bhajati kim purushakya varshe, comma, samsevito hanumata dhrida bhakti bhaja Sita bhirama paramadbhuta rupashali, comma, ramatmakaha. Is there put a F? Ramatmakah parilasan paripahi Vishnu. Yam yam disham bhajati kim purushakya varshe samsevito hanumata dhrida bhakti bhaja Sita bhirama paramadbhuta rupashali ramatmakah parilasan paripahi Vishnu.
Yam yam disham bhajati kim purushakya varshe samsevito hanumata drida bhakti bhaja Sita bhirama paramadbhuta rupashali ramatmakah parilasan paripahi Vishnu. Yam yam disham bhajati kim purushakya varshe samsevito hanumata drida bhakti bhaja Sita bhirama paramadbhuta rupashali ramatmakah parilasan paripahi Vishnu.
Yam yam disham bhajati kim purushakya varshe samsevito hanumata drida bhakti bhaja Sita bhirama paramadbhuta rupashali ramatmakah parilasan paripahi Vishnu. Yam yam disham bhajati kim purushakya varshe samsevito hanumata drida bhakti bhaja Sita bhirama paramadbhuta rupashali ramatmakah parilasan paripahi Vishnu.
Stanza 9. Srinaradena saha bharata khanda mukyaihi tvam sankhya yoganutibis samupasyamanaha akalpa kalamiha sadhu jana bhirakshi narayano narasakah paripahi bhuman. So now he's coming to this Bharata Varsha, right, which is the south, further south of Ilavrata. So in that Bharata Varsha, you along with your companion, you as Narayana, along with your companion Nara, who is actually residing there till the time of the deluge that actually happens, you are then worshipped by Narada and other famous sages in this region using the yoga margam. So whether it be the regular yoga margam or the Sankhya, which Kapila taught to Devahuti, to the Sankhya yoga, or through all the various other yoga margams and hymns, Narada along with other people are worshipping you in this region of Bharata Varsha. So please paripahi, please protect me and all your devotees who are in the form of Narayana when you are residing there. So Sri Naradena saha Bharata Khanda Mukyaihi, put a visarga there and a comma. Next line is goes away. Tvam Sankhya Yoga Nutibihi, is there put a is Nutibis Samupasyamanaha Akalpa Kalam Iha Sadhu Janabhirakshi, comma Narayano Narasakaha, is there put a if F there Narasakah Paripahi Bhuman. So Gopiji and Sudha, just say one time. We have 4 more stanzas. I want to just finish it off today. Okay. Sure. Srinaradena saha bharata khanda mukyaihi tvam sankhya yoga nutibhis samupasyamanaha akalpa kalamiha sadhu jana bhirakshi narayano narasakah paripahi bhuman.
Srinaradena saha Bharata khanda mukyaihi tvam sankhya yoga nudibhis samupasyamanaha akalpa kalamiha sadhu janabhirakshi narayano narasakah paripahi bhuman.
Srinaradena saha bharata khanda mukyaihi tvam sankhya yoga nudibhis samupasyamanaha akalpa kalamiha sadhu janabhirakshi Narayano Narasakah Paripahi Bhuman.
That's a 10. Plaksherkarupamai shalmala indurupam dvipe bhajanti kushanamani vannirupam kraunchemburupamatatavayumayam chashake tvam brahmarupamai pushkaranam nilokhaha. So again, you can look at the map, so I won't go in detail, but in the region of Plaksha, the Plaksherka, in that region, they're worshipping you in the form of the Arka, as the form of a sun. And then in the Shalmala Rupam, you are worshipped in the form of Indu, in the form of a moon, in the form of a moon. In Kusha Dvipa, you worshipped as in the form of a fire. Vanni Rupam, Vanni is referring to Agni, so in the form of fire. And then in the Kraunche Dvipa, you are worshipped as Ambu. Ambu is referring to water, worshipped as water there. And then in the Shaka, you are worshipped as wind. And then in the Pushkara region, you are worshipped as Brahma. So this is all the various. Now I'm worshipping you. People worship you in that, and I'm also worshipping you and praying to you in that form of yours in the various regions. Plaksherka. So ik plaksherka rupamai shalmala indu rupam, comma dvipe bhajanti kushanamani vanni rupam kraunchembhu rupamatha vayu mayam cha shake, comma Tvam Brahma Rupamapi is there in some books, but we agreed on IE in some books. So change it to IE. If you have a Pa, change it to a Ya. So Tvam Brahma Rupam IE Pushkara Namni Lokhaha. Plaksherka Rupamai Shalmala Indu Rupam Dvipe Bhajanti Kushanamani Vanni Rupam Kraunchemburupamathavayumayam chashake tvam brahmarupamai pushkaranam nilokhaha.
Plaksherkarupamai shalmala indurupam dvipe bhajanti kushanamani nirupam kraunjemburupamathavayumayam chashake tvam brahmarupamai pushkaranam nilokaha.
Plaksherkarupamaye Shalmaka Indurupam.
Shalmala.
Shalmakan irukke.
Mala.
Shalmala.
ரொம்ப தப்பு இருக்கு. Plaksherkarupamaye Shalmala Indurupam Dvipe Bhajanti Kushanam Nirupam Kraunchemburupamathavayumayam cha shake tvam brahmarupamayi pushkaranam nilokaha.
That's 11. Sarvai dhruvadi bhirudu prakarair grahaischa puchadikeshva vayaveshva bikhalpyamanaihi tvam shimshumara vapusha mahatam upasya sandhyasu rundhinarakam mama sindhushayin. So now you kind of go out of this regions in the maps to kind of outside of Earth itself. So he says, along with Dhruva, which is the pole star, along with other stars and planets, which then take the form of the shape of a fish, which is the Shimshumara. I think this is maybe a geographical name for that, the astronomical name for that. I don't know that, but it's just the one which has got the shape of a fish, which forms the tail and the limbs of a fish. So where Dhruva, Polestar, and all the other planets are in. So that form of yours, the at the Sandhyasu, at the morning, noon, and evening, at the transition times of a day, all the great sages worship you in that form. The enlightened beings worship you in that form. So I am also worshipping you, and you then Rundhi Narakam, you please eradicate all my sins and sufferings. You in that form, please eradicate all my sins and sufferings. So Sarvair Dhruvadi Bhirudu Prakarair Grahaischa, Graha, which is the planets, right? So Grahaischa, comma Puchadi Keshva Vayavesh Vabhi Kalpyamanaihi Tvam Shimshumara Vapusha Mahatam Upasyaha. Is there? Put a is Upasya Sandhyasu. Put a plus. So upasya is worshipping you at sandhyasu. So that's why putting a plus there. So upasya sandhyasu, and then put a comma after sandhyasu. Rundi narakam mama sindhu shayin. Sarvair dhruvadibhirudu prakarair grahaischa puchchadikeshva vayaveshva bhikalpyamanaihi tvam shimshumara vapusha mahatamupasya sandhyasu rundi narakam mama sindhushayin.
Sarve dhruvadibhirudu prakarair grahaischa puschadikeshva vayaveshva bhikalpamanaihi tvam shimshumara vapusha mahatapupasya sandhya. Okay.
Mahatam upasyas.
Okay. Tvam shimshumara vapusha mahatapupasya sandhyasu rundi narakam mama sindhushayin.
Sarvair dhruvadibhirudu prakarair grahaischa puchchadikeshva vayaveshva bhikalpyamanaihi tvam shimshumara vapusha mahatamupasya sandhyasu rundi narakam mama sindhushayin.
Stanza 12. Patala moola bhuvisheshatanum bhavantam lolaika kundala viraji sahasra shirsham neelambaram dhritahalam bhujaganganabhirjustam bhaje haragadan gurugehanatha. So now you kind of saw the sky. Now is coming to Patala. So you're saying in the region of Patala, you are now Sheshatanum. You are taken the form of Adi Shesha. So Balarama, but also again at the end of the day, it's your form only. So you have taken the form of Adi Shesha and you are worshipped by all the Nagas and everybody in the Patala region in the form of Adi Shesha. But Adi Shesha is also Balarama. So he says you're also, that's why Neelam Bharam, you're wearing blue Vastram with the Dhrita Halam along with the plow that Balarama has. So as Adi Shesha and as Balarama, you are worshipped in the region of Patala. O Guru Gehanatha, O Lord of Guru Ayur, Hare Gadan, please eradicate all my ailments and diseases. Patala Moola Bhuvi Shesha Tanum Bhavantam, comma, Lolaika Kundala Viraji Sahasra Shirsham. So thousands of heads in the, as Adi Shesha. Sahasra Shirsham. Neelambaram Dhrita Halam Bhujaghanga Nabhir, you can put after Nabi, you can put a plus, and then there's a ir coming in the next line. So Nabhir Jushtam Bhaje Hara Gadan Guru Geha Natha. Patala Moola Bhuvisheshatanum Bhavantam Lolaika Kundala Viraji Sahasra Shirsham Neelambaram Dhritahalam Bhujaghanga Justam Bhaje Haragadan Guru Geha Natha.
Patala moola bhuvisheshatanum bhavantam loleika kundala viraji sahasra shirsham neelambaram dhritahalam bhujaganganabhir justam bhaje haragadan Guru Gehanatha.
Gopiji, you can say one more time, we have time. Guru Gehanatha, second line tha, not da. Last letter.
Guru Gehanatha.
Yeah.
Patala moola bhuvisheshatanum bhavantam loleika kundala viraji sahasra shirsham neelambaram ghridahalam bhujaganganabhir justam bhaje hara gadan Guru Gehanatha.
Patala moola bhuvisheshatanum bhavantam lolaika kundala viraji sahasra shirsham neelambaram dhritahalam bhujaganganabhir justam bhaje haram gadan Guru Gehanatha. Patala moola bhuvisheshatanum bhavantam लोलैककुण्डलविराजिसहस्रशीर्षं नीलाम्बरं धृतहलं भुजगाङ्गनाभिर्जुष्टं भजे हरगदान् गुरुगेहनाथ।
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. So it's a very nice chapter. Each stanza, you're worshipping one form of the Lord, right? So 12 stanzas, right? So in each stanza, you're referring to one form. So सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावदेभ्यां निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानां कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना भा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि.